Okay, so add cable, right? We just chuck it, right? Just toss it in the trash can. No. Do you have any idea how expensive these are? No, don't throw these away, okay? It's real simple. All you have to do, push back this little piece of protection, and you've got a break right here in this cable. That's all you have. You can unscrew this collar, and what we're going to do is we are literally just going to go cut that off. We're going to cut this heat shrink. We'll cut that heat shrink back. We're going to desolder this connector, and then we are going to strip this cable back, solder this connector back on, push this all back together, and we're going to keep rocking and rolling. All right, follow along.
All right, so I have cut the end off, as we can see, and I'm going to show you what the problem is. If you look right here, this is your ground. Or I'm sorry, this isn't your ground. This is your hot wire. Sorry. So the hot wire is supposed to connect up to that this little piece of solder hanging off of here, or wire, or whatever they have right there. But it didn't. The only thing that was left was that one little wire right there. That's all that was left keeping us in business, and that had come completely apart. Now you could have tried to resolder this, but there's really no need to do that. Let's just go ahead and fix it right. I'm going to take you through that right now. Okay, so what I do is I'll take this, I'll hold my thumb against it, and then spin it. It's hard to do that on camera, so I did it off camera. But look, you can see where on one side I cut through the copper. That's okay. Over here, we didn't. We'll have plenty of ground, okay? Let's pull that off. So you see how that was wound around? That's your ground right there. Now you're going to take that, you're going to twist that up nice, all the way up, and then you got to strip this black off of that. Now, I showed you the method that most of you will use at home. That's the method I use here. Now the black's off. This is a double insulated. See how it has this plastic? Sorry, now you can see. It has that little plastic piece right there. Now I'm going to strip that off as well. And sometimes this plastic piece is really hard, even with a pair of strippers sometimes. And yes, I know that sounds weird, but that's what the tool's called. Sometimes even with those, that doesn't want to come off. Now look, there you go. Ground, hot. Now, what you have to do before you get too carried away here, put this little piece back on, and I flip it. This was the piece that was inside this collar. I'll flip it around, that way I have kind of a new beginning there. Oh, I almost did wrong. Put that on there like that, and then we solder it back in. Easy peasy. All right, now it's time to solder this little bare outer cable. We're going to solder it down here to our ground. All right, so what I did was I just stuck it to the old solder real quick. That'll kind of hold it in place. And then what we're going to do is come right back up in here with some good fresh solder, and we're going to make sure that that doesn't come out of there again. All right, okay, so what I have done now, this is the hot wire right here. So what I did was I bent a little kind of a Z pattern into it, all right, so that this piece hangs down. It doesn't interfere with our collar when the collar goes back up. And all we have to do right now is literally solder this hot wire back in, and then we're in business with the cable. And there you have it. That's a repaired cable right there. Okay, cable's all fixed. All you have to do is make sure that you roll these back over. This is why most of these cables go bad, because this doesn't get rolled back over tight enough. And what happens is this is allowed to wiggle, 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 and it breaks these connections. So now what we do is we're going to push this little guard piece, push this guard piece back up as far as you can, because I know most of you don't have heat shrink sitting around the house, and this is going to help to protect. You may have to take your little razor knife or whatever it was you used to cut with and get that to want to go up over that. But you push that up just as far as you can, just like that. All right, then what you're going to do, screw that collar back down, and you're done.